There are places in the world where history feels distant, where life moves forward quietly, predictably, almost unchanged. And then there are places where history is happening right now. Ukraine is one of those places. A country where ordinary life and extraordinary circumstances now exist side by side. Where people wake up each day not knowing exactly what the day will bring, but still choosing to live it anyway. This is not just a story about conflict. It is not just a story about politics. It is a story about people, about cities that continue to function, about families that continue to stay together, about a society that continues to move forward, even when everything around it has changed. To understand Ukraine today, we need to look beyond headlines. We need to look beyond statistics. We need to look at life as it is lived every single day. Because the true story of Ukraine is not only about what has happened, it is about what continues. Before the world's attention turned toward Ukraine, life here followed a familiar rhythm. In cities like Kyiv, mornings began with the usual routines. People commuting to work, students heading to schools and universities, cafes opening their doors, filling with conversation and energy, public transport running on schedule, markets busy with customers. There was movement everywhere, a sense of growth, a feeling that things were moving forward. Ukraine was developing, not just economically, but culturally and socially. You could walk through the streets of Kyiv and see modern buildings rising next to historic architecture, a blend of past and future existing together. Young people were building careers, starting businesses, connecting with the world through technology. There was optimism. Not perfect, no country is, but there was direction. There was momentum. Even in smaller cities, life had its own steady pace. Families gathered for meals, friends met in parks. Weekends were filled with small routines, shopping, relaxing, spending time together. It was a life that felt stable, predictable, and most importantly, normal. But normal is something we often don't notice until it changes. There are moments in history that change everything. Not slowly, not gradually, but suddenly, in Ukraine, that moment came with a shift that disrupted daily life across the country. Routines were interrupted, plans were paused, uncertainty replaced predictability. For many people, the change was immediate. For others, it came gradually, but no less deeply. Things that were once simple became complicated. Daily decisions required more thought. Movement became more cautious. Awareness increased. People started paying attention in ways they hadn't before, not out of choice, but out of necessity. Shops, services, and public spaces all felt different, not empty, but quieter, more serious. The energy changed. Life didn't stop, but it slowed. And in that slowing, people began to adapt. One of the most remarkable things about human beings is their ability to adapt. In Ukraine, adaptation became part of everyday life. People adjusted their routines, changed their expectations, learned new ways to navigate daily challenges. Work continued, but sometimes differently. Some offices changed how they operated. Some businesses adapted to new conditions. Others found entirely new ways to function. Education continued as well. Students kept learning. Teachers kept teaching, not always in the same way as before, with the same purpose. Families adjusted too. Daily life became more focused, more intentional. More aware, small things began to matter more. Time spent together. Moments of calm. Simple routines that provided stability. The definition of normal changed, but life continued. Beyond everything else, there are people. And in Ukraine, the human story is what matters most. Because statistics don't show emotions. Headlines don't show daily life, but people do. Individuals with families, with responsibilities, with hopes. And despite everything, they continue. They wake up. They work. They care for their families. They support their communities. There is strength in that. Not loud strength, not dramatic strength, but quiet, consistent strength, the kind that shows up every single day. This is what resilience looks like. Not perfection, not fearlessness, but continuation. Cities like Kyiv have not stopped. They have changed, but they continue. Transport systems still operate, shops still open, people still move through the city, but everything carries a different weight, a different awareness. Urban life continues. And in that continuation, there is something powerful. Because it shows that even under pressure, systems can function, communities can hold together, and life can keep moving forward. To truly understand the present of Ukraine, it is important to understand its past. Ukraine is not a country with a simple history. It is a land that has experienced centuries of change, political, cultural, and social. For generations, different powers influenced this region. Borders shifted, systems changed. But one thing remained consistent: the identity of its people. This identity was not built overnight. It was shaped slowly through language, culture, traditions, and shared experiences. Cities like Kyiv stand as living examples of this history. Ancient architecture exists alongside modern development. Old churches stand near new buildings. Every structure tells a story of time, resilience, and continuity. Through different eras, people adapted. They adjusted to changing systems. They preserved traditions, they passed down values, and over time, this created something strong, a deep connection to culture, a sense of belonging, a national identity that does not depend only on circumstances, but on history itself. This is why, even in difficult times, that identity remains, because it is rooted in something much deeper than the present. Culture is one of the strongest forces in any society. And in Ukraine, culture continues, even in challenging times. It exists in music, in food, in traditions, in the way people interact with each other. Families pass down customs from one generation to the next. Meals are more than just food. They are moments of connection, of conversation, of togetherness. Music continues to play, not just as entertainment, but as expression, as identity, as emotion. Festivals, even if smaller or quieter, still exist. People still celebrate, because culture is not something that stops. It adapts. It changes form, but it continues. And in that continuation, people find comfort, a reminder of who they are and where they come from. This is why culture matters. Because when everything else feels uncertain, culture remains. Living in uncertainty changes how people think. It changes how they feel. In Ukraine, many individuals face emotional challenges. Stress becomes more common. Anxiety becomes part of daily life. People think more about safety, about the future, about stability. But something else also develops: resilience. The ability to continue. Despite pressure, the ability to remain strong. Even when things are not easy, people find ways to cope. Some talk to family and friends. Some focus on work. Some find comfort in routine. Others find strength in community, because no one goes through it alone. Support systems become important. Human connection becomes essential. And slowly, people adjust. Not because they want to, but because they have to. This is the psychological side of life. Less visible, but just as real. Even during difficult periods, daily life responsibilities do not stop. People still need to work. They need to earn. They need to support their families. In Ukraine, this has led to adaptation in the way people approach work. Some industries continue as before. Others adjust. Some people shift to remote work. Others start small businesses. Markets remain active. Shops open, services continue, even if not in the same way as before. There is flexibility, creativity, and determination. Because survival is not just physical, it is economic as well. People learn to manage resources, to adjust spending, to prioritize what matters. And through this process, a new form of stability begins to emerge. Not the same as before, but stable enough to continue. The situation in Ukraine is not only local, it is global. People around the world follow updates. News channels report regularly. Discussions happen across countries. But there's a difference between watching and living. From the outside, it is information. From the inside, it is life. This difference matters. Because reality is always deeper than headlines. More complex, more human, more detailed, and understanding that difference is important. Because it reminds us that behind every story, there are real people. The situation in Ukraine is not only local, it is global. People around the world follow updates. News channels report regularly. Discussions happen across countries. But there is a difference between watching and living. From the outside, it is information. From the inside, it is life. This difference matters. Because reality is always deeper than headlines. More complex, more human. More detailed, and understanding that difference is important. Because it reminds us that behind every story, there are real people. In times of uncertainty, individual strength matters. But collective strength matters even more. In Ukraine, communities play a crucial role. Neighbors support neighbors, families support each other, friends stay connected, people share resources. They share time, they share responsibility. This sense of community creates stability, it creates support systems, and it ensures that no one is completely alone. Even in challenging conditions, human connection remains strong. Because connection is not something that depends on circumstances. It is something that people create and maintain together. When people think about Ukraine, they often think in simple terms. News, events, updates. But reality is more complex. There is daily life. There are routines. There are normal moments. People still drink coffee in the morning. They still talk with friends. They still go about their day. These moments may not appear in headlines, but they are important because they show something real. They show that life continues. Not perfectly, not easily, but continuously, and this continuity is what defines real life. Not just major events, but everything in between. The future is uncertain, but it is also open. In Ukraine, people continue to look forward. They think about rebuilding, about progress. About stability, they imagine a future where life becomes easier, where routines return, where growth continues. And while no one can predict exactly what will happen, the direction is shaped by people, by their actions, by their decisions, by their resilience. Because the future is not only something that happens, it is something that is created, step by step, day by day. Ukraine is not just a place. It is not just a situation. It is a country full of people, full of stories, full of life, a place where strength is not always loud, but always present, where resilience is not an idea, but a reality where life continues, not because it is easy, but because people choose to continue. This is not just a story about what has happened. It is a story about what is still happening and what will continue.